Welcome to Christ Center Gamers video game review of Left Behind 3: Rise of the Antichrist. If you have never heard of this series, it is a Christian real-time strategy game, and this is the third, I'd like to say, revision, because if you go to the single player and go to the storyline, there's two sets of missions, and this Bruce and Rayford one is pretty much what was from the original one, and this was from like the sequel or the expansion pack. And all this third one does is just kind of combines these two and adds some video segments inside the game. So the original game. My biggest complaints with the original game was that there's no difficulty level, and with the first one you couldn't advance to the next mission until you beat the second one. So instead of addressing that complaint, they just unlocked the missions so you can play them in any order you want. And the expansion, besides the unlocked levels where you can play any level in any order you want, they did make some graphical improvements to the interface. The graphics themselves are not as colorful as this movie. I think the graphics are rather bland. The videos that they've added are not really that great of a quality. Even the actors, I don't know, I'm wondering if they're from the game studio, but the person they have playing their Antichrist is very spot on. And the videos, you can tell they used a green screen because the actors have like a green outline around them, so it's relatively low budget. But let me just show you what the gameplay's like. I guess let's just try this level.
Buck told Chloe about his conversation with President Fitzu. It wasn't a shock to Chloe, but she let Buck have it for not telling her sooner. She explained to him that they are in this mess together, and that the only chance of making it all the way to the end of the Great Tribulation would be by sticking together through everything and not keeping secrets.
Just waiting for this to load here.
Understood and realized that the young girl he married had grown up quite quickly over the past 2 months. She wasn't just a person he would have to shield and protect. She was his partner, capable of anything he could do. Buck told Chloe he had no idea when they would have to leave New York, but he felt the time was coming soon. Seeing an armed militia running toward the GCP was enough of a hint that the president had something in the works, but there are questions left unanswered. Who is in this force, and what are their plans? Finding out the answers would help Buck learn when to evacuate before it was too late. Chloe just wished that all of the killing would stop. There had to be some way to influence the GCP soldiers enough to lay down their weapons. Only then could the violence cease on the streets.
Well, the voice acting is good. I don't know who narrates this, but when I go to the actual game itself, the voice narration's by Christian radio personality Chris Fabry. Alright, so.
Mary, thanks for coming so quickly. I wouldn't miss this for the world. When I was standing on the street corner singing about God, there weren't many people willing to listen. Now, I'm going into the action where they'll have no choice but to listen.
You're a lot braver than me. I think we need to stick around here for a while and build up a spiritual force. A trib.
Yes, Buck, we know. A tribulation force. But I'm with Mary. Let's go do this now.
You have a choice to make.
That's Chris Fabry.
Chloe and Mary can attempt to influence the GCP soldiers right away, or you can set up a base quickly and train people to be powerful influencers to help your cause. After you turn the first GCP soldier neutral, you will only have a limited time to save as many GCP as you can. Press the O key for your objective.
Okay, so one of these missions you have a choice to make, and depending on the choices you make, it'll affect the next, I guess, the future objectives for the mission. So I'm just going to show you what's involved in making a base. You have a builder here. You just start off with a builder, and you acquire a building with the funds that you have. And there's different kinds of buildings you can make. Here, actually, I'm gonna send him to convert people automatically. So I'm just gonna put him here, set him on auto. Alright, so he'll start converting people. I'll have Chloe do the same.
I'm here. You can trust it will be done.
And I'll put her on auto as well. Alright, so a base. First, you should start off making an office building.
Your objectives have been up.
And because I'm starting with a base, my objectives are updated. And so I'm going to make a bank to generate money. You make a cafe to generate food. And then you make a chapel where you can train people to sing. So she's a praiser. So and people are white if they're neutral, green if they're a friend, and red if they're an enemy, or yellow if they're an ally.
Task is completed.
Alright, so they're just working on recruiting people, and there's a limit until I build more housing. So I need to get a house, or make a building. I'm going to acquire one, and I'm going to make it into a house. And so, let's see, while they're doing that, everyone, if you care to read it, they have a life story if you want to read it. But they also have a spirit level, and if it gets, I don't know, what is the threshold, like, I don't know, maybe 65 or so, but if it gets too low, they'll turn neutral again. And if that happens to, like, an important character in the game, you can lose your mission may fail. So to keep their spirit level up, you have to pray. And that also will affect. So the good guys pray. The bad guys, what they do to, keep their mission, their spirit level, whatever, in check. They have to do rock and roll music. So it's kind of funny how the different sides work. Now with these praisers, they're called influencers, and what they can do is they can if they sing, it'll lower the spiritual level of the bad guys, and if the bad guys play rock and roll music, it'll lower the spiritual level of the good guys. So it's kind of checks and balances. There are hit points, and you can make clinics and train doctors to heal your units.
Neutrals within your recruiter's sight.
So that's pretty much in a nutshell how this works. Buck is converting people like crazy. And so is Chloe.
Oh, he's playing games. Left behind.
Alright, well, there's my kid. So, alright, so that's how that goes. I got a cafe made now. If you hit O, you see your objectives. And a base, I have to make a chapel and a mission training center. Alright, so let's make just this corner building a chapel.
There are no neutrals within your recruiter's sight.
And so once I complete that objective, then I'll get the next. Killing in this game, most of the missions discourage or frown upon killing, and actually when you kill, it'll lower your spirit level of your group of people, or your army. So you'd like to avoid killing when possible, but it's just inevitable sometimes. But what you can do is you can get a bunch of those singers together and usually, turn the enemy neutral on you, and then you can wind up converting them as well. Because besides singers, you can have disciples or hero units like Buck and Chloe who can take the units and convert them to your side. So it all depends on how you want to do things. Mission training, and there's different levels of the units here. So you have your basic praiser, then you have like a worship leader, and then you can go, you know, prayer warriors. So there's different levels and specialties. It goes like the same when you when you're working with the army. You have recruits, and you have soldiers, and then you have special forces and spies, and each unit has special abilities where, you know, they can, you know, they can, the singers can pray, you know, sing, the doctors and stuff can heal, the spies, they can go to stealth mode where they can sneak around and not be detected by enemy units. So that's pretty much how it works. You do your missions, and some of the enemies are actually spiritual enemies. They're like, sometimes there's demons you have to encounter, and they're pretty nasty. And there's some hero units that you'll sometimes find. Sometimes you'll come across a widow, and she'll give if you keep her around, she'll give you guys kind of like a spiritual boost. And there's some saints or prophets, and there's some scrolls that you can find that can help give you some advantages as well. So that's pretty much how this game is in a nutshell. Everybody looks the same. All your friends that you just recruited that are not assigned to anything, they all look the same, talk the same. See, their female friends are all the same. I think these guys, it's funny, these friend guys, I think their outfit reminds me of Ned Flanders. But sometimes it's hard to keep track, because sometimes there's like a special character in the game, but he'll be just like this, and it's hard to keep track. So I wish a little bit more variety was used, but that's that. So you got these special buttons here where you can just select a friend, any friend, and I can send them to the chapel by clicking here. I can select a doctor and send them wherever you need to send them. And you can also, you know, when you train, you can set where they're going to come out after they're trained. You can set buildings to auto train. So there's a lot of neat things. Oh, I need a camp, and then that'll be done. Alright, so let's just make it. Alright, that was the last building I needed. The music is still the same. It's from Chance Thomas. It's very pretty. I like it. They did an awesome job. I just wish that this third game had a lot, you know, more to it. Because, I mean, the missions are pretty much the exact same from the other games. So, if you see this third one on sale, forget the other two.
We're fully operational. I'll continue to get more housing, though.
Great work, Teddy.
You're a
Alright, so now use influence to turn to GCP. Okay. Alright, so I would need more influencers, so I will just take. Alright, so I just take these guys and put them in there, and I can. They're automatically going to be a musician. So that's pretty much how it goes. And I can take the musicians, and I can put them in the training center. Oops, I put them in the wrong spot.
Make a joyful noise.
I think I did. I put the wrong. Make praiser. Yeah. I put a couple in the bank on accident. But that's that. That's.
I lift my voice in song.
Sometimes these games are just incredibly hard. Or sometimes the missions are incredibly hard. But you can go in and just go to the next one. But it is hard to keep track, and when you do complete a mission, you can I typically exit the main menu, otherwise you're forced to look at I'd call like an ad. And speaking of ads, this game uses kind of like in-game advertising. So sometimes you'll see like an EB Games banner or something. I don't see any here right now, but a lot of times, so I don't know. And it's funny because it's EB Games, and it's been GameStop for a while now. So that's it.
May I help you?
I've definitely played more fun real-time strategies, but you know, my biggest disappointment is that they just add, you know, make one little change and they release it as a whole new game. So if you're not I don't know, if you've already owned one of the other two, don't even, I mean, if you own the first one, this one has all the stuff from the second one. But if you don't own any, this would be the one to get if this kind of game would interest you. So I hope you found this video review helpful. Thank you for watching.